It's Berg Hockey Live, powered by 10-Band TV and PetersHockey.tv. We have a PIHL AAA matchup, the final night of the regular season. Just two games being played tonight, and one of them is right here at Printscape Arena in South Point, Pennsylvania. I'm Matt Geica on the call with you tonight once again as we put a bow on 2021-22 and head on to the Penguins Cup playoffs. One of these two teams, Peters Township, will be moving on in pursuit of another championship, while Canon-McMillan has one last shot to play for pride and to play for a win in this rivalry matchup, this South Hills collision. Twice every year, we get to see the Big Macs take on the Indians right here at Printscape Arena. Thanks to Todd Kazarowski and staff on site for putting the show on, and thank you to Brian Mitchell and Alan Saunders with Pittsburgh Hockey Digest for providing the YouTube simulcast. Peters Township in the red, Canon-Mac in the yellow. Peters Township technically the away team for this one, coming into the game in third place out of 11 teams in Class AAA with a record of 13-5-1. Canon-McMillan will miss the playoffs, as I mentioned. They are in 10th place with a record of 4-14-1. But the previous time these two teams got together, it was a close one. Peters Township pulling out a 4-3 win in the Miners Cup showdown back on January the 4th. And that one, the shot total was lopsided for sure. Peters Township had 46 shots to just 27 for Canon-Mac, but it went down to the end, and it was contentious as well. As we saw in that game, in addition to goals from William Tomko, Cooper Slavin, and Ryder Mertens in the first period, and a 4-1 lead early in the second for Peters Township on a Chase Stauffer tally, Canon-Mac pulled within a goal with Zach Wilcox's score early in the third period, and that game also included a major skirmish in the second as we saw multiple game misconducts being handed out, including a couple of fighting majors. You don't see that very often in the PIHL. But right now, Peters Township can't move up or down in the standings. They're stuck in third, and they're going to play Baldwin, the 6th seed, right here at Printscape next week as the Penguins Cup playoffs begin. And there you see the Indians out there on the ice in their traveling reds on their usual home ice, coached by Rick Tingle and assisted by Cliff Bumford and Chris Claxon. Canon-Mac, they've been competitive lately. They've picked up 3 of their 4 wins since the new year, alternating wins and losses for a few weeks there. And right now, under Coach Ryan Lamberger, they're trying to at least give their seniors, their 4 seniors, a nice send-off. For Peters Township, 17 seniors, there will be at least one more game next week, and of course, they're hoping for more. So about ready to drop the puck at center ice. We'll bring you the starting goaltenders in just a moment here as we are ready to play hockey in Western PA, Berg Hockey Live, and PetersHockey.tv. Face-off controlled by a Canon-McMillan, and Adam Ciarilli peels back with this one. Feeds it on near side for Tommy Leroy, the junior defenseman. Leroy with 4 assists, tops among Canon-Mac blue liners, works this puck to the far side, and Ciarilli fires up the far wing, and it's redirected out to center ice. Peters Township averaging nearly 6 goals per game as the home team this year. Of course, their home games are over in the regular season, but still playing on home ice, even though they're on the bench to our right as opposed to the bench to our left. Trying to deflect this puck out to center was Andrew Masucci, but it's shot wide of the goal by Canon-McMillan. There to retrieve on the far side of the ice, Camden Martin, and he sends it out to the Canon-McMillan blue line. Push to center ice, spinning down Carson Alexander, and here are the Big Macs. Charging through is the powerful forward Nick Price, one of 4 seniors on this team. Price on the year with 5 goals and 12 total points. Tied for the team lead with Aiden Briggs, I should say. Back to retrieve here for Canon-Mac is O'Donohue. Familiar name for those of you who followed Canon-Mac hockey over the years. His brother Liam also played for the Big Macs. Here's a backhand pass near side. Peters Township in the midst of a change as it's shot up off the stick of Cooper Slavin. Loose puck up for grabs, and the Big Macs are able to usher this one out to the line and beyond to safety and center red. Push deep, no icing here. On the retrieval are the Indians. Peters Township has scored 59 goals in their 10 games here this year. They've allowed 30. And now picking up the puck, Ryder Mertens, one of the top scorers in Class AAA, took the shot, and it's deflected away to the corner. James Morgan in net again as a bouncer goes right through the front of his crease as he watches with a wary eye. Chase Stauffer trying to backhand this one in below the goal line, but that was blocked down. And a headman pass for Canon-McMillan was intercepted and broken up. Austin Rowe couldn't get it through. So early back and forth play here as James Morgan, the junior, hands it off. Morgan with an .862 save percentage on the season. He's played basically every minute of every game for Canon-Mac. Here's a wrist shot and an early save on the chance for Ben Vitodian, a familiar name. He had a strong freshman season last year. Canon-Mac had a big year last year before falling in the first round of the Penguins Cup playoffs in an upset to Mount Lebo, which went on to the championship game. By the way, the starting goalie for Peters Township, Nolan Hilbert, the junior, making his 7th start. He's got a record of 3-3 and an .839 save percentage on the season. So Morgan for Canon-Mac, and we have Hilbert for Peters Township. Offside against Peters Township, and we'll face it off in the neutral zone. PT, last time they played on home ice, they had a 5-game win streak snapped by the Baldwin Highlanders. Baldwin went 2-0 against Peters Township this year, and that was a 5-1 win for the Class AAA newcomers at Princescape. So PT is going to get a third crack at the Highlanders next week. As I mentioned, PT cannot move up or down, neither can Baldwin. Just 2 games left, only 2 games on the slate for this entire week in Class AAA, as there was some extra time plotted into the schedule to allow for any kind of COVID interruption, as we saw last year. Power play, though, on the way for Canon-McMillan as they get started here on the advantage. Price hands off. Here's a quick pass to the near wing side, and a wrist shot that's stopped by Hilbert on the drive from Wilcox. Wilcox scored in the first game between these two teams. Hands to Ethan Franzik, centering pass deflected out to center and cleared. There's one weakness for this Peters Township team. It's on the penalty kill, as they're ranked 10th of 11 teams, killing off just 77% of opposing advantages, but they also have a handful of shorthanded goals on the year too, so don't forget to factor that in when you're talking about plus minus and where they stack up when they're playing a man short, and that's not factored into the kill percentage, of course. Canon-Mac on the power play, just 13% on the season. That's 10th in the Class AAA standings. Wristed out to the line and beyond, cleared by Carson Alexander of PT. Peters Township looking forward to making a run at an 8th consecutive Penguins Cup semifinal appearance. They've done a great job of winning in that week 1, but this may be one of their toughest matchups in week 1 over that stretch. Maybe the toughest. We'll talk more about that as the evening plays out. Knocked off the stick of a Big Mac, and out the center it goes. So Canon-Mac, not much to speak of on this power play as Ciarilli spins away from traffic. He's got 4 points on the year, including a power play goal. Makes a pass up the left wing side. But this is simply shot in by the de facto home team tonight. The Big Macs of Canon-Mac in their yellow jerseys. I haven't seen these before. And another dump down the ice from the Tribe. That'll force Morgan to knock it away from the side of his net. Camden Martin fillets it into the corner. 2nd minute of this power play for Canon-McMillan. Working in this first period, trying to avoid falling behind like they did 3-0 in that first matchup, the Miners Cup game. Hilbert pins this one down at the front of his crease. Peters Township not accustomed to not having anything to play for on the final week of the regular season. Usually at least standings and positioning is something to worry about or concern themselves with. Something that can be gained or lost, but not the case today. Kind of an odd situation here. The standings aren't particularly spread out either. It's just happened to play out that way. O'Donohue couldn't get that to the front of the net. And Peters Township clears. On the chase here is Caden Kazarowski. He's joined by Luke Casiola as they double team one of the Big Macs on the near side wall. Casiola forced the turnover. Kazarowski in deep, trying to stuff it in. Loose puck was available there at the top of the blue paint, but none of the Indians could get there in time. Here's Ringwald. Good to see him back on the ice for Peters Township. 13 points on the year. Peters Township has scored to such a degree this season that their top 5 scorers, actually their top 6 make it, including Ringwald, outpace Canon-Mac's top scorer. Put it in front of the net there on the sharp angle chance, but that goes right through the crease again. So now the Indians starting to find their legs and forcing the play deep into Canon-Mac territory. Canon-Mac's allowed nearly 5 goals per game this season. Here's a shot from the outside by Kness that was patted away by Morgan, pardon me. Casiola shovels it deep from behind the net. Spinning away from ongoing checkers was Braden Gerchow. Gerchow was the one who got the checking from behind penalty, misconduct penalty, and ended up leading to the fight between Peters Township's Woods and Canon-McMillan's Aiden Briggs in the second period of the Miners Cup game a couple of months ago, almost 2 months ago exactly, to the day. 9 weeks prior to this was the last time these two teams met. Mertens gets in there on the forecheck, lays the body, and frees up the puck. Ryder Mertens with 21 points in 19 games on the season. Fed it back to the point. There's Woods confronted there. You have to imagine that Woods is going to be involved physically with some of the big Macs tonight. Trey Dobson, and Richard Woods always likes to get his nose dirty. The puck's cleared right past Chase Stauffer at the blue line, and Peters Township chases back for it. Stauffer looks up, swings a pass too far for his teammate to reach, but no icing here. It was deflected as it's ruled, and now played right in on net, and that's where Morgan pins it to the ice. Canon-Mac's 4 seniors. I'll read those off to you. Austin Rowe, also Nick Price, Devin Lamego, and Charlie Bridge, the goaltender. Bridge has 1 decision this year. He's 0-1, stopping 13 of 16 shots for an .812 save percentage in limited action. Breaking back, Zach Wilcox to the forehand, out of the backhand, back to the forehand, and he swung a pass to the slot. Hilbert had to try to help that one away to the side, and he did. Got some assistance from his teammates, did Hilbert. As Austin Malley ran into a check at center ice, the puck's deflected up into the offensive zone. William Tomko, one of the top freshmen, well, the top freshman in scoring in Class AAA, one of the top freshmen in all of Western PA this season with 29 points in 18 games. He's out there right now in front of the net, gets the shot away, and it's squeaked in. They score. Speak of the devil, and he show up here. William Tomko powers it in from the top of the crease. His 17th of the season, and Peters Township leads it 1-0 off the pass from behind the net. A great little feed from Malley, and the puck trickled under the pad of James Morgan for Peters Township to jump on top. Outstanding work from that line. Tomko now tied with Connor Chi of North Allegheny for the top goal-scoring spot in AAA. Out of 11 teams worth of players, no one scored more than Tomko now officially. And he can take home that goal-scoring title with 1 more later tonight. We'll keep an eye on that. Also, Cooper Slavin has 16 goals, so he's in play for that sort of thing. Right to the front of the net, it goes by Slavin, the captain of the Indians. Doubling back, Colin Kimberling. He couldn't get there, but instead his defense partner, Carson Alexander, will. He feeds one to Camden Martin. Got around a man. Now off to Caleb Kovac for his shoot-in. Puck pursuit, Andrew Masucci on the puck briefly, but now lost control. Here's Ciorilli. Now lost control. Here's Ciorilli pivoting away from pressure, but he gave it away. Alexander shot, score! It got all the way through, and I don't think Morgan saw it until it was past his blocker hand. 2 goals in about a minute's time for Peters Township to make it a 2-0 game. And if it is Alexander's goal, that's his 3rd of the season, tying him with Kobe Ringwald for the most from a Peters Township blue liner this year. So PT keeps doing what it does all year, what it's done all year at home. And now jumps to a 2-0 advantage. As we know, though, well, PT had a 3-0 lead and a 4-1 lead against Canon-Mac in the first meeting, and the Big Macs played tough, got back into it, and made it a game, especially in the 3rd period. Here's a centering pass that's deflected away from Nick Kubik, who was pinching up into the play. Max Kness chasing this puck in behind the net for Peters Township. 2-0 lead. Goals from Tomko, and I believe it's going to be Alexander from distance out by the blue line, shooting that through a screen. Cassiola distributing out to the point. Bouncer from Kimberling toward the slot. Here's Caden Kazarowski, one of those 17 seniors. He knocked it behind the net to another one of those seniors, Max Kness. Of a moment there at the second intermission to give you all the names of the players who are competing in their final regular season game for Peters Township this year, a group that's compiled 55 regular season wins over 4 years and hoping to make it 56 tonight. Ringwald, a nice cutback move to create some time and space. Kobe Ringwald to the outside, 7:17 to go in a quick-moving first period. One penalty that was killed off by Peters Township and a couple of goals from PT shortly thereafter. Back out to the point, Kimberling pivots and slugs it right back in deep. Peters Township keeping the offensive pressure on. Kazarowski trying to stuff, and he flipped it right through the top of the paint. Out to the line, held there by Alexander, his wrist shot. That was deflected away to the corner. Cassiola trying to get a shrug on that one, and it's picked up and flung down the ice by Canon-McMillan. That can't be legal. You can't close your hand on the puck like that. That should be a penalty against the Big Macs, I'd have to imagine. Well, I guess spring training is going to be postponed this year for Major League Baseball. And in this case, this throw down the ice is going to be allowed to stand, apparently. I don't know how you throw without closing your hand on the puck, and closing your hand on the puck is a penalty in any hockey rule book. Anyway, we'll play on with Peters Township enjoying a 2-0 lead. Leroy behind the goal, lost control. Again, PT closes off the angles. Chase Stoffer to the side of the net. Stoffer goes to the front, trying to take a pass here from Mertens, and it didn't get through. Slavin looking to stick check the puck away, and he helped loosen it for the take by Connor Murphy. Again, PT with the puck. Mertens dipsy-dooed around one player, but lost command of it at the last second. Here's a backhand chance that sails wide of the net with Nolan Hilbert watching it sail into the corner. And an icing call against Peters Township will drag the faceoff back down to our right. Well, once again, as I have been all season, I come to you from the state of Michigan due to the miracle of the internet and the production of 10-Band TV, led by Todd Kazarowski on site. It's been my pleasure to bring you these games whenever I've been able to. This, the 11th and final broadcast of the regular season for me. I know Matt Popchak has also done some games on the road, and he also did the Miners Cup game. So I take that back. This is my 10th broadcast. Trying to squeeze by a player there was Ben Kovac, another top scorer for Peters Township. And again, James Morgan takes no chances. He freezes the puck. Kovac, a team best 16 assists as part of his 28-point total through 18 games. He's got 3 power play goals, 2 shorthanded goals, a breakout season for the sophomore in his first varsity year. Ben Kovac tied for 5th in AAA points and 4th in assists. And with William Tomko's goal, like I said earlier, just to reiterate, he's now tied for the division lead in goal scoring with 17. No goal per game guys in the league this year, but a couple that are mighty close. No icing here. The puck stops short of the goal line. Malley on it. Pulls up as he slammed on the brakes. On the give there to Kovac. Now to the corner. Tomko sliding toward the front. Instead, it's Kovac leaving at the point for Jack Bosick's shoot-around. To the far wing. It's not going to come through to Alexander, though. Kovac has to hack at it. 5 minutes to go in the first period. Goals from Alexander and Tomko have Peters Township ahead. 2-0 as they try to win their 14th of the season. Just 5 losses in 19 games coming in for PT. Malley kicks it ahead. It's on the sideboards, though. And spun right toward the front. Hilbert got a glove on it, and it deflected away to the far corner. Now driven on net, and Hilbert has to hold this one. It's somewhere in his pads, and one of the Big Macs went tumbling over Hilbert, and a couple of Indians tackle him. Bosick, one of them, and it looks like we're going to get at least one penalty from this sequence. And it appears the live box score is not updating right now on PIHLhockey.com, so I can't tell you who had the earlier penalty, and also I can't tell you who had the assists on the goals, at least not to this point. We'll see if that gets revved up sometime soon. Well, the home team has a penalty on the board. Ben Vitodian. 2 minutes. I think he was the one who went sprawling over Thomas, or Hilbert, pardon me. Nolan Hilbert getting the start tonight, the junior over the sophomore Kyle Thomas, who has 13 starts on the season. And we can honestly say, based on performance, I'm not sure who's going to get the call next week for Peters Township as they face Baldwin in the winner-take-all quarterfinals of the Penguins Cup. Peters Township controls the faceoff. Tomko's shot that got through. Rebound again, put on net, and another save made by Morgan. And the Big Macs can skate this one out of trouble. It's tossed ahead by Wilcox, but rejected there at the red line. Back to the blue. Stauffer run over by Wilcox. His opposite number. Stauffer goes to the slot. The pass bounces off his stick and over to the far wing. Kimberling on the little shovel play. Now a bounding puck at the circle. Back to Kimberling. He put it right through one of his teammates onto Ryder Mertens, who curls up the wall. Mertens takes the pass back from Kimberling. Ken Mack trying to close down some space there and force Peters Township to the far reaches of the rink. They're doing a good job so far, at least over the past 30 seconds. Now a bouncing puck goes over the stick of Tomko, who retrieves out by the blue line. Kimberling reverses it on to Mertens, working his way in. Mertens poked off his stick, right to Tomko, though, shooting off a body to the side of the net. And Cooper Slavin hops on it here. 50 seconds to go on the penalty. Cooper Slavin to Tomko from the circle, goes cross rink, one-timer by Mertens, and he fanned. Would have been a beautiful play if they'd have finished it off. Kimberling to Mertens, kicks it to his stick skillfully. Now to the goal line, trying to come out with it. Stauffer. Stauffer playing one of the points here for Peters Township. To the line and bouncing right through Kimberling and all the way down the ice. 3 minutes to go in the first period. Quick up for Peters Township. They want to keep the pressure on. Cooper Slavin, long shift for him, but he finds Tomko. Down deep with that one, through the stick of Kovac. Kovac again on this one. Goes cross rink. Wrist shot from the top of the circle by Kimberling. Patted out by Morgan. And cleared by Canon-McMillan. Trying to chase after this one is Wilcox, but right there on the spot, Nolan Hilbert, top of his crease, to slug it away. Power play is over. Peters Township 0 for 1. They have the best power play in AAA. I was trying to mention that, but there was no stoppage during the 2 minutes when they had the advantage. Prior to that chance, they had scored on 30% of their opportunities. Actually, just short of 30, but we round up. And they have 5 players with at least 3 power play goals. Here's an opportunity from the right circle that's turned out by Morgan. 2 minutes to go in the first period. Down the wall with it, trying to pitchfork it in, was Camden Martin. Instead, it's forced right back in on his net by Ben Vitodian. He gets his second shot on net, and again, Hilbert denies him. With 2:02 showing on the first period clock. The only other game tonight is Cathedral Prep, which will finish dead last, 11th out of 11, against Upper St. Clair. From behind the net, clear up the far side, but no further than the half wall. Spinning a pass toward the middle were the Big Macs, but that's deflected away to the near glass and helped out to center by Peters Township. Now gloving it down, Aiden Briggs, tied for the team lead with 12 points for Canon-McMillan. Couldn't make a move to get around a man. Austin Rowe tries to force a bad play, and it does come right into the clutches of Leroy at center ice, who sends it right back in. So the Big Macs looking to build off the experience of this year and come back firing next season to the front of the net. That puck was played by O'Donohue. And swatting at it, Gerchow, but it comes right to an Indian. There's Malley. This is going to be offside as the play is interrupted at the blue line, but pushed out to center, so wipe all that out. 1:08 and ticking to go in the first period. On Berg Hockey Live and PetersHockey.tv. This is Matt Geica on the play-by-play. Final minute of the opening stanza of the final game of the season. Turned over, right in for a chance, and he never got a shot away. And the net was knocked off its pegs as Hilbert holds on. Great chance there for Ken and Mack, but Briggs couldn't convert, and he skates slowly off to his bench. Penalty, though, given on the play to Andrew Masucci. It looked like it might be a hook in front of the net after the turnover that sent Briggs in all alone. Bouncing puck out to center ice. Leroy filters it cross rink. On the shoot in, spins around the kick plate. 40 seconds to go in the period. We'll go by that clock. Wilcox overskated. And the Indians flush it down the boards, and out it goes. To the corner and held up there by the goaltender, Morgan. James Morgan also has an assist on the season. Mark Trischler bounces this to the far side. And this will be offside against Canon-Mac. 22 seconds remaining in the first. PT jumping on top with a 2-0 score here, but shorthanded for the second time in this first period. Matchup of two units that haven't done great work this season, so curious to see how it works out. Rowe with a wrist shot, and that's a nice save. Hilbert's best of this first period as he came telescoping out. Down to the final 10 seconds. Make it 7 seconds. Near side pass. Finding Leroy. Had trouble corralling it. Now to the corner. Wrist shot by Rowe. Hilbert makes the final save as the buzzer sounds, ending the first period of play. Goals from William Tomko and Carson Alexander have Peters Township up 2-0 in this rivalry matchup on Berg Hockey Live. Stay with us on PetersHockey.tv and Pittsburgh Hockey Digest YouTube channel. Back in a moment for the second period. Back at Prinscape Arena, you'll see us flashing the senior photos for both teams throughout the course of the broadcast. And thanks to Todd Kazarowski for compiling those. If you missed senior recognition for Peters Township in particular 3 weeks ago, this is a second chance to take a look at the 17 seniors who are competing in their final regular season game. And, well, hoping it's a longer run in the playoffs, but you never know. You like to appreciate and soak in all the moments that you know are guaranteed. So we'll continue to honor the seniors on both sides of the ice as Canon-Mac goes to work here on a power play. It's second of the evening. A centering pass flips right back to the point. Aiden Briggs controls it there. Canon-Mac's number 9, the junior, makes a pass out to the point. Now a shot right on net that Hilbert had to make a save on as it came through a maze of legs and sticks in front. To the front of the net, save made by Hilbert again, and the rebound's poked wide. To the point, Wilcox makes a pass over to Briggs, his one-time shot. That was wide of the goal, I think. Might have been blocked, actually, at the side of the net. And dumped out of the ice, or down the ice, I should say, out of the zone by Peters Township. This is Matt Geico on the play-by-play call, remotely, once again, for the 10th time this season. And we're hoping to bring to you the opening round of the playoffs next week. It's looking like it's going to be a Monday face-off between Peters Township and Baldwin here from Prinscape. But that'll be finalized shortly. Power play is over. So Masucci's out of the box, and Canon-Mac is 0 for 2 on the advantage tonight. The Big Macs try to hit off the counter. It's not going to work. They'll have to try again. Ciarilli peeling back. He finds Leroy with a pass. But his dish ahead, intercepted by Peters Township. PT has poured on the goals at home this year, and although they're not the home team tonight, they're on track once again to reach at least 6, which is right about their average for every home game this season, believe it or not. Yes, 6 goals on average. This is offside against Peters Township. 15:22 to go in the second period. Peters Township has won 13 games, also an overtime loss mixed in there. Out of their 5 losses, just 1, or pardon, 2 have been at home. Pine Richland and Baldwin, as I mentioned 3 weeks ago. PT rebounded after that with a 10-1 win against Upper St. Clair. Sharp angle chance. Hilbert makes a couple of saves. What a great opportunity there for Canon-Mac to break the ice. Nick Kubik got the opportunity first, then the follow-up chance too, but both times Hilbert says no. Nolan Hilbert, it's not a 0 on the board right now for Canon-Mac just because of the defense. He has come up with a couple of key stops to keep this one a 2-goal bulge. To the front of the net with it, bouncing into the low slot. Corralled on the far wing by Ryan McKenna, senior defenseman. Puts it around the wood. Cassiola couldn't get a deflection ahead, so PT's got to skate back for it. McKenna once more. Up the far side. Here's Cassiola looking up, trying to find Kazarowski, but the pass is behind him. They continue to work, though. To the front of that, Kazarowski, a redirect on the pass from Max Kness, and that's gloved and held by Morgan. Caden Kazarowski, 11 points. He's in the top 6 scorers for Peters Township. PT has 8 double-digit scorers on the season. Slavin goes forward. He's tripped up off the draw. Got the shot away from his knees, but he drew a penalty nonetheless with 14:30 left in the second period. PT back to the power play for the second time this evening. Canon-Mac's penalty kill, dead last out of 11 teams, by the way, 74%. I told you Peters Township's at 30%. It might have ticked down to 29 with that first period misfire, but they have a chance to rebound from that. Kovac, Slavin, and Stauffer have 3 power play goals apiece to lead this club. To the far side, and there is Kimberling forcing it in deep. Tomko pivoting, looking. Stauffer moves to the front. Instead, it's back to the point. And a snapshot that's blocked on the way. Pardon, that was Tomko from the point, not Kimberling. Mertens fighting for it. Tomko helps out. Slavin on the puck from the corner. PT wearing their red jerseys for the road team. To the front of the net. Mertens save, rebound, score! Chase Stauffer, the senior from the side of the net, had an open net, essentially, and he stashed it in for a power play goal. His 7th goal overall in the season, and he takes the lead with his 4th PPG of the year. That's tops on Peters Township. 3-0 with 13:51 to go in the second. Give the assists, I could eyeball this one and call that, to Ryder Mertens and Cooper Slavin. Slavin's pass from the corner found Mertens for the 1T from the left circle. Morgan made the save, but a lot of times as a goalie, you can't direct the rebound. You just got to hope that somehow it bounces away from the attacker, and it did not in that case. And for Stauffer, one of his easiest finishes of the year. Not to take anything away because he popped it in with poise. 13:37 to go after the stoppage on an offside with Peters Township trying to re-enter the zone. Second period action. You see the scoreboard clock at the top right of your screen. Canon-McMillan, since January the 18th, has alternated wins and losses. They beat Cathedral Prep 6-5. They beat Bethel Park on the road 1-0, as Morgan makes this save on the chance from the corner. And they top Seneca Valley 2-1. So it's not a team to be slept on for sure, even with a 3-0 lead now for Peters Township. The same lead they had against Canon-Mac in the first meeting, in which Peters Township retained the Miners Cup trophy. That was called by my good buddy Matt Popchak. Hated to miss that game, but had a conflict with another game up here in the state of Michigan. So all the conflicts are over now. You've got me the rest of the way, folks, like it or not, as Alexander will dump this around in behind the net. Kovac vacuums it up. Now he holds on. Dish to the corner. Kovac's going to have to try to extract this one from a crowd. Stauffer yanks it loose. Stauffer to the front of the nets, and he couldn't get by the checking of Ciarilli. To the point, and Alexander unable to hold it inside the blue line either. He steps up, shoots it right back in. Peters Township's got to come back and tag up to avoid the offside call. And Ben Kovac does just that. Jack Bosick hammers it forward. Behind the net it settles as Morgan hands it off for Canon-McMillan, but right to a Peters Township forward checker. PT up 3-0. The only goal in this second period scored by Chase Stauffer, and we're going to have a penalty coming up, and we have a skirmish again, just like we saw in the first game between these two teams, almost at the same exact time on the clock, too. It was 5 minutes into the second period when we had the fight in early January between Woods and Briggs, and Gershaw got a checking from behind 2-minute penalty plus a misconduct from all that. We'll see what comes of this time around, as two players were tangled up with 12:11 left in the second period. Emotions already boiling to the surface, even though we have a long way to go before the end of this one. Peters Township awaiting the call from one of the referees. At least one Indian is going to the box to match the Big Macs, at least as far as I can see from the camera view that you're looking at. And the two referees are talking things over with the scoring table and the folks who man that. Class AAA standings, while we figure this one out, North Allegheny is going to win the division. The defending Penguins Cup champions have 35 points. They could not be caught in the final week of the regular season. Pine Richland finished in second, the Rams with 30 points, and then Peters Township at 27 points, could get as high as 29 with a win tonight. Mount Lebo in fourth with 25. Seneca Valley in fifth with 24. So we'll see Mount Lebo hosting Seneca Valley in the first round. Baldwin at 23, and then Central Catholic and Bethel Park tied with 18 points, but Central Catholic had one more win. So the Vikings are back in the playoffs, and their reward is to face Pine Richland at the Barrel Ice Complex next week. Bethel Park will play North Allegheny in the 8-versus-1 matchup. The only penalty I see on the board right now is to Austin Rowe, senior forward for Canon-McMillan. So that might be the only one that affects play on the ice. That's usually the indication that we get. Typically, all the penalties aren't entered if they cancel out. And if that's the case, it's power play 3 for PT, who already have a PPG, scored a couple of minutes ago from Chase Stauffer. And it is a power play. So Cooper Slavin to take this draw, the man who wears the C for Peters Township. Wins it cleanly on the backhand to Colin Kimberling out at the point. Kimberling short pass over to Mertens. Mertens goes across to Tomko, now back to Kimberling, who skates centrally. Wristing, save made by James Morgan. To the corner it goes. Tomko on it. Little dish play off to Kimberling. Slap pass down low, and Morgan kicked the net off. Play is allowed to continue on. I don't think the referee sees it. The far side post, the left post from the Peters Township angle is off, and now, yes, we do have the detection, and we'll stop the play and redo the face-off from that right circle, I believe, with 1:34 remaining on the penalty to Rowe of Canon-Mac. It doesn't look like we're going to get that live score, that live box going tonight. So I'll do my best to keep track manually. Stauffer at the front couldn't get a shot off as his stick was tied up, pitting for 2 power play goals in the same period. Kimberling, nice pass, going to Tomko. Now Mertens straight on, and a wrist shot was off a leg. To the corner. Kimberling retrieves it there, turning Stauffer. He had half an open net. They try to make a pass off to Slavin, and now Mertens peeling out of the corner with it. Mertens to Slavin, back to Mertens, shooting, and wide of the net as Morgan reached for it. 1 minute to go on the power play. Peters Township whipping that puck around right now, forcing the Big Macs to recover over and over again. Mertens shot it from the sharp angle. That stop was made. And here's Wilcox for Canon-Mac, and he'll toss one softly into the air to kill some time. 46 seconds to go on the power play, 10:50 left in the second period. PT up by 3 on their South Hills rivals. Mertens downshifts as he gains the blue line. The give off to Kimberling, now back to Mertens. Back to Kimberling. Goes cross rink on a saucer pass. Hops onto the stick of Ben Kovac, the sophomore, who's had a dynamite breakout. Kovac and Tomko have helped power this Peters Township offense, both in their first varsity seasons, both underclassmen. 16 seconds left on the advantage. Malley on the give and go, got it back and scored! Austin Malley with a big fist pump to make it 4-0. His 6th of the season, and Malley, who's come back from injury late in this regular season, gets back into the mix again on the score sheet, taking the feed out of the corner and jamming it under James Morgan with 10:23 left in the second period. I want to say that might have been Tomko, could have been Slavin with a pass out of the corner, never got the number of the player. At any rate, Malley, his second power play goal of the season as well. Malley, who started so hot, then like I mentioned, had to go on the men for a while. And here he is back, and number 98's an X factor as the playoffs are set to begin in the Penguins Cup. Should be fun to watch this Peters Township team if they can make a run. Briggs' wrister off the leg of Carson Alexander, who ducks in behind the net, protecting the puck. Made the pass, and out come the Indians. Kazarowski left it behind unintentionally, but it'll be shot into the offensive zone by Kness. Big line out there for Rick Tingle's Indians. Kazarowski, Casiola, and Kness. Kazarowski right to the front on a stuff try. And this time Morgan is equal to the task with 9:42 left in the second period, keeping it 4-0. Canon-Mac's other win on the season, beyond the recent, 6-week span in which they have gotten better, was a 4-1 win against Central Catholic right here. Also mixed in with this recent streak of 3 wins in 6 games, though, are losses in blowout fashion to Upper St. Clair, 8-3, Baldwin, 7-0, and North Allegheny, 7-3. Casiola at the front looking for this pass from Kness. Couldn't get it. Instead, he distributes back to the point. Stepping up here, Murphy. Trying to make a pass. Got it back again. Connor Murphy shooting, and that's sticked away to the corner by Morgan, who saw it all the way. No players in front of him that time. And here are the Big Macs. Headman pass. Finding Petrillo. Put it to the front of the net, and deflected around and in behind the net. Petrillo trying to drag it free. Centering pass, bounces out to the point, slap shot by Ciorilli. That didn't get through. Adam Ciorilli again, the junior. Has a couple of goals on the season. Now he's got to try to retreat and keep this puck into the offensive zone. Alexander chips it back in the vicinity of his net. Kobe Ringwald slams it around the glass. Strange bounce off the partition. Kazarowski helped it to the line, but no further. Briggs held it in, but he's working on a solo mission right now with the Big Macs trying to change. And they hand it over, but this will be a penalty, I believe, on the way. And I think it's against Peters Township with 8:34 left in the second period. Now, I might be wrong here. Yeah, the penalty box is not opening on the Peters Township side. It's against Canon-Mac. And it is too many men on the ice, it appears. A bench minor. So Peters Township 2 for 3 on the advantage. Now gets a 4th crack at it. And they appear to just be warming up on the last power play chance. Kimberling a shot from the top of the right circle, gobbled up by Morgan. Nothing further from that. 8:30 left in the period. Exactly halfway through it. Off the jam up. Slavin reaches in. Cooper Slavin pirouetting and finding Colin Kimberling. Half wall pass to Mertens. He and Kimberling play catch. Now Mertens to Slavin, scanning his options from behind the goal. Always a good idea to go behind the net. Force the defenders to turn around. Shot from Murphy. Held on to, or pardon, Tomko. And kept by Morgan. I've done my best this season with the player identification, despite watching on a monitor, just like you are on a device. And Tomko and Slavin, they have certainly provided some confusion on the year, but I always do my best to try to double check, even if I miss the initial call. So I appreciate your patience this year as we've tried something new this season, and first time for me calling anything remotely. Stauffer wanted to pick that puck free and find Mertens in front. Now it's Stauffer. He pivots, and a bank pass out to Kimberling, but angled incorrectly, so the geometry didn't work for Peters Township. They have to go back forward and retrieve. Kimberling Fires cross-right to Tomko. He pulls up, left it. Shooting is Slavin, and he missed the net high. 1 minute to go on the power play. Peters Township's got 2 PPGs in this second period. 2-on-2 scrum for the puck. Wilcox forcefully rams Mertens into the boards. But here's Tomko with it. To the point. Wrist shot. That's blocked. And kicked out to center. Well, Slavin who got that shot away. Tomko picks up this pass from Kimberling. Half minute to go on the power play. Ben Kovac takes it behind the net. Steps on the brakes. Now Kovac swirling out high. The pass off for Kimberling's one-timer. Hit a body in front of the net, I believe. I don't think it got through to Morgan. And punched down the ice by the Big Macs. Maybe one final rush if Kimberling can cleanly pick this puck off the wall, but he's getting harassed by Aiden Briggs right now. Final seconds tick off on the bench minor to Canon-Mac, so it appears Canon-Mac will be able to survive and kill off their second penalty of the night. But Martin goes far side, trying to change all that. Malley looking forward. He has the most recent Peters Township goal. Ben Kovac tried to go over to Martin. Shot from the sideboards by Richard Woods. That careened into the corner. Martin in after it. Couple of Big Macs collide and now flipped in the vicinity of the Canon-McMillan bench. Might be a penalty coming. And I think it's against Peters Township this time. And Richard Woods is going right to the referee and asking what it was that he did or one of his teammates did. With 6:08 to go before the intermission and the ice cut here from Printscape Arena in South Point, PA, Peters Township up 4 on their rivals, the Big Macs of Canon-McMillan. But Canon-Mac gets its third power play of the night. It's Austin Rowe's turn to take this face-off. He's got Leroy behind him. I like these Big Macs jerseys. Very distinctive. I think a better look than their usual blue or white. Just one man's opinion, of course. And what I like too, readable nameplates. Amazing. Vatodian's out there on the near wing as well, and still a long chat here. Actually, Ben Freund, or Aiden Freund, has to go off to the locker room. I wonder if he's suspected of some sort of injury. It has to be the case, as the medical person on staff here, the medical professional, is now walking on the ice to the corner door, and off he goes to check on Freund. So hope the best for the junior forward for Canon-Mac. Shot through the traffic by Tommy Leroy. That save made by Hilbert. Out to the point. Leroy handles. The rangy defenseman shot it, and that was blocked. Down to a knee to get in the way of that one, Kobe Ringwald. He's actually limping right now. Ringwald defending the front of the net. Trying to bunt it in front are the Big Macs. Petrillo was there, but now it's ripped away. And here comes Peters Township. Masucci on the shoot-in. Morgan, look out, coughed it up, and nearly an open net goal, shorthanded for Peters Township, but it bounced over a stick at the last moment. So here's Canon-Mac. From the corner, Vatodian makes the pass out to Leroy, but he has to backtrack out to center ice to take it. 1:12 left on the penalty to Richard Woods of Peters Township. Vatodian tapped it ahead, one hand on his stick, got it through McKenna. Vatodian again has a step, has a look, shot it. That might have hit the outside of the net, perhaps off the body of Hilbert. Great look for Canon-McMillan's Ben Vatodian. 7 goals on the season for the tall sophomore. From the near side, shot around by O'Donoghue, but picked off by Peters Township with 40 seconds to go on the power play. And a soft toss down the ice allows them to complete a change. And it's right in on net. Morgan let it go to the end boards, trying to keep the play moving, avoiding a faceoff, but he won't be able to do so here. It's to the front of the net, and with Martin right there, Ben Kovac forces an offensive zone draw for Peters Township with 4:33 left in the second period. Peters Township just trying to keep the play in the offensive zone as long as they can. That's about as far as it will go on this possession. Aiden Briggs on the take back for the Big Macs. To the front of the net, backhand chance for Rowe, and that stop made by Hilbert. Another shot. That one goes wide of the net in behind. To the point, Wilcox shooting, and that's redirected. To the far side wall. Power play's over. Peters Township's killed off another one, and they remain in command 4-0. Kness on the takeaway, but he gave it right back to Canon-Mac. To the front of the net, open man there, backhand chance, sails high from Ethan Franzik. Another good look. So Canon-Mac staying in it competitively, as we've suspected. This hasn't been a team that's been blown out a ton this year. Played some competitive games, including one against Peters Township earlier this season, as I've mentioned a couple of times. Just to remind you, even though they have just 4 wins on the year, this can be a team that can hang with you the whole night. Kazarowski couldn't find a rebound in front, so again, Morgan holds for the faceoff with 3.5 to go in the second period. Stauffer and Malley, your goal scorers here in the second for Peters Township, both on the power play. I'm Matt Geico on the play-by-play, flying solo again tonight. And great to be with you for some late-night Tuesday night hockey on the first day of March. Usually it's playoff time. A little delayed this year. We had the schedule pushed back a week just to make sure that COVID didn't get in the way of things. And Kness pushes this one through the top of the blue paint. No one home for Peters Township. 3 minutes to go. In the second period, Ringwald tried to lead the charge back. Instead, he left the puck behind, so Kness has to shoot in instead. So Ringwald coming back from injury himself. He's missed 5 games this year. Still has 13 points from the blue line. Still has more points than all of the Big Macs do. Incredibly. Turned over. Slavin wanted to drag it around a man with the toe of his stick blade, but didn't work. Kimberling retrieves and bangs off the boards. Ryder Mertens couldn't make anything happen. Now near side, it'll be Slavin over skating as the puck was deflected away from his stick. Stauffer trying to get in the kitchen of one of the Big Macs, but it's tossed right by Stauffer and out to center ice again. 2 minutes to go in the second period. 2 goals in the first, 2 goals in the second for Peters Township. Over the near side, it's spun around the kick plate and forced back up to the Peters Township line. That's where Murphy knocks it ahead. Slavin trying to lift the stick of one of the Big Macs defenders. Not going to work there. And icing called against against Canon-McMillan. So Peters Township gets another face-off in the attack zone. Peters Township trying to make it 3 wins in a row going into the playoffs. They also dispatched Erie Cathedral Prep up at Erie 7-1 2 weeks ago. They had last week off. This shot goes out of play, deflected. So we'll do it again from the same circle. So I think this is as important of a game as you can get when there's nothing to be gained in the standings. For PT to get its game legs back under it and get ready to go. Got to balance the rest with the rust. That's always the case this time of the year, if you can, if you don't have to worry about fighting for a playoff spot. And again, Peters Township will make the playoffs. It's become a rite of spring. Woods shooting. He missed the net. To the corner, plucked off the wall. Shot by Tomko. Denied by Morgan on the 45-footer. 1:11 to play in the second period. Even strength action right now. Malley intercepted. Went cross rig with it. Maybe he could have shot it himself, but he was unselfishly looking for Tomko. Now Malley hands it off. Tomko back in front. Malley couldn't get the shot away as the pass was deflected by Canon-Mac. They collapsed around the front of their net. Kovac, his pass behind the goal. Malley out to the line. Woods retreating to the blue. And fed it right over the top of a Big Mac. Charging onto him. 40 seconds to go in the period. Malley far side. And it shot into the open net, but there was a whistle. A whistle, and is it a penalty? I think it is. The penalty box is open. Cross-checking the call against Woods again. So he gets his second minor of the period. And a guy who's got some history against this Canon-Mac team. Maybe the referees are looking pretty closely at him. That might be the case. 41.3 seconds to go in the second period. Canon-Mac gets power play number 4. And if they don't score here in the next 41 seconds, it'll carry over into the third with them down by 4 goals. Nolan Hilbert came all the way out to the face-off circle or face-off dot to say something to the official ready to drop the puck. Now he skates back to his crease, ready to do the work of the position. Out high in the zone, but taken by Franzik right on net with a bouncing puck. And Hilbert snags it and holds it. 36 seconds left before the intermission. Five seconds elapsed on the power play. Canon-Mac's fourth of the night. Price won it to Briggs. Half minute to go in the frame. A shot from the angle, and that's deflected off a stick. I think Leroy got a piece of that, or maybe that was Price in front of the goal. Probably Price, in fact. 76, not 72. 20 seconds remaining in the period. Camden Martin is trying to pin this to the corner boards and doing a great job of it. Working 1 versus 2. But now Canon-Mac can try to break out with 10 seconds to go in the period. And they've taken a penalty, and Briggs is ticked off, slamming his stick twice on the ice. Once with one hand, once with 2 hands. The co-leading scorer of Canon-McMillan ticked off that the power play is over, and we're going to play 4-on-4 for the final 9 seconds, barring any further infractions. So there goes that. Dom Tricana whistled on the infraction, all because of Camden Martin's hustle and his hard work in deep in the offensive zone. Approaching 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night, the final week of the regular season, final day of the regular season in Class AAA. Caleb Kovac couldn't force the turnover in the corner, and it's nearly shot on their own net by the Big Macs. I guess that's a save from Morgan at the side of his goal, and that's how the second period will end. We'll play 4-on-4 for a minute 19 at the start of the third period. 2 goals in the first for Peters Township, 2 more in the second. The 2 goals in the second period scored both on the power play, 1 from Chase Stauffer and 1 from Austin Malley. The junior gets his 6th after Stauffer notched his 7th. Keep it here on PetersHockey.tv while the conclusion of this one and the conclusion of the regular season, plus our continued honoring of the 17 seniors on Peters Township and the 4 on Canon-McMillan. Stay with us. Peters Township leads Canon-McMillan 4-0 in this final game of the regular season for both teams. In fact, it's the final game of the regular season overall in the PIHL's Class AAA. As we move on to the Penguins Cup, and for all your Penguins Cup coverage, I remind you to take a look at berghockey.com. Pittsburgh Hockey Digest has it covered from stem to stern as we look to award the Penguins Cup once again, getting back on track with a 20-game regular season this year, and feeling good about how things are going to go in the playoffs. The teams who are in the top 4 in the Class AAA side of things, at least, in that bracket, will host their first-round playoff games, and then after that, it's neutral sites the rest of the way for the semifinals and the finals. You're seeing the Canon-Mac seniors flash across the screen. Also want to give a shout to all the Peters Township seniors who are competing, dressing, or observing their final regular season game of their careers. Jacob Palmieri, Caleb Kovac, Max Kness, Jacob Smiga, Cooper Slavin, the team captain, William Tomko, or pardon me, not William Tomko, Luke Casiola, I should say. Tomko is a freshman. Chase Stoffer, Connor Murphy, Jack Bosick, Caden Kazarowski, Ryan McKenna, Lucas Deemer, Michael Bamitzrider, Nick Eddy, Andrew Masucci, Colin Kimberling, and Carson Alexander, 17 seniors for PT. Putting a bow on their regular season portions of their careers and hoping for more fun in the playoffs, obviously. Another huge senior for Rick Tingle's program, which continues to be one of the deepest and most popular programs in any high school across the country. So another tip of the cap, tap of the stick to Peters Township and how they've been able to just continue to roll players in. And it's always, like I said, big-time veteran presence on these teams because, well, it's tough to make it on varsity. You usually have to wait until you are a senior in a lot of cases to get your first, in that case, only go around. It takes a special player to break in before your junior year, especially. Okay, we're going to skate 4-on-4 for the next 1 minute and 19 seconds. This is Matt Geico on the play-by-play call for the final time in the regular slate. Peters Township leads 4-0, 2 goals in the first and 2 goals in the second. And so far, so great for Nolan Hilbert, the junior goalie for the boys in red. And it's taken a little bit longer to get ready for this third period. I'm not sure what's going on. So while we wait, I will remind you that next week's Penguins Cup playoffs will feature matchups between North Allegheny and Bethel Park in the 1v8. Pine Richland versus Central Catholic, Peters Township versus Baldwin, and Mount Lebo against Seneca Valley. Missing the playoffs this year, Cathedral Prep in last place, Canon-Mac in 10th, and Upper St. Clair in 9th. Battle for the puck off the face-off. The final period of the regular season has begun. Here's Slavin shooting. I want to make sure in a moment I give credit to a player who I didn't give credit to in the second period as Kimberling's shot was turned aside. Camden Martin had the primary assist on Austin Malley's power play goal. This is icing against Canon-Mac. Or no, it's not. Pardon me. I was fooled by the goaltender, Hilbert. He put his arm up, but no icing to be had. So PT's got to work out of their own zone with it. And end up being handed over by Ringwald to Canon-Mac, side of the net. Hilbert had to slide over but didn't have to make a save. Bouncing play to the far wing. Over there trying to jump over a man was Tommy Laurie. And I think I mispronounced his name in the first couple of periods. Did that last year, too. I need to be better than that. It must not have saved my records there on this whole spotting chart that I tend to roll over from year to year. Adam Scarilli on the puck, turning away from pressure. 11 seconds to go on the penalty to Richard Woods of Peters Township. So once that's done, PT will have about a half-minute power play. Their 6th of the night, or pardon, 5th. They're 2 for 4, about to engage their 5th power play. Malley on the shoot-in. Peters Township's onside, but Malley gave it away and cleared to the red line, but no further. On the break back, and a shoot around the boards, comes right to Carson Alexander. Alexander gets it back at the point. He's got a goal in this game. He shot that just wide of the net, high to the right. Alexander calling for it. Penalty is over. Out of the box, sprints Dom Tracana, and that forces Alexander into a turnover. So Woods with 15 minutes to go in the third period, and most likely the season for both these teams. Malley coughed it up in the middle of the ice. And a 2-on-1 for Canon-Mac. A shot and a save by Hilbert on the opportunity for Tracana. Tracana called his own number. Didn't want to try to force that pass across. Probably was a good idea, as it looked like the Peters Township defender had taken the man without the puck, or at least tried to close down that passing lane. And so Hilbert could focus on the shooter. Worked out that time, for sure. So this is the end of the road for Canon-Mac. Next week, playoffs for Peters Township. They'll face Baldwin, a team that beat them 4-2 at the Ice Castle in Castle Shannon back in the first half of the year, and 5-1 at Princegate 3 weeks ago. The game will be at Princegate, by the way, with Peters Township serving as the home team as the 3 seed. Here comes Tomko trying to jump on this puck, but this is icing against Peters Township. William Tomko, goal in the first period. That's given him 17 on the year. He is now tied with Jackson Reed of Seneca Valley for the top spot, pulling ahead of Connor Chee and his teammate Cooper Slavin. Here's a shot and a score. Canon-Mac gets on the board, breaking the shutout. Aiden Briggs won the faceoff. And that set things into motion for the wrister from Tracana, who was just stopped on the 2-on-1. This time, he guides it past Hilbert from between the circles. And the Big Macs will not be shut out in the final game of their 2021-22 season. It's a 3-goal margin now. So Tracana, his third of the year, the junior, in his 19th game of the season, missed just one this year. For the guys in gold, Canon-Mac wearing its alternate gold jerseys tonight. Looking pretty sharp, if I may say so myself. And they've finally broken the ice here early in the third period. Tossed up the boards, held in. Hilbert scoops this off the surface and hangs on. Canon-Mac came into the game with 41 goals on the season. Just shy of 2.5 per game. That's 10th out of 11 teams. So it hasn't been offense or defense that's been an issue. It's been a little of both for Canon-Mac this year and their coach, Ryan Lamberger. He did a great job last year and the year before, honestly, installing some structure with this team, and it paid off last season for sure. This year, a much younger team, more difficult sledding for the Big Macs this time around. Ringwald bodying up one of the Big Macs there outside the blue line. Chipped ahead by Peters Township. No icing here around the boards. They try to deflect it out the center to the Big Macs, but it's not going to work. Luke Casiola, strong on his stick with a wrist shot and a pad save and a penalty. Penalty on the way again. We've seen our share of special teams in tonight's game. So Tracana scores for Canon-Mac, but it looks like the Big Macs are going to go shorthanded again. Power play number 6, high sticking the call. That's given PT another crack at it. And a power play that's back above 30% on the season, tops in Class AAA. Mertens won this faceoff, lost it, but ends up being the equivalent of a win as Tomko shoots. As it was cleared right to him, he closed in, but that shot was stopped by James Morgan. Tomko again, another save by Morgan, this time with the glove, and this time he controls it. Just about 10:20 on a Tuesday night. Late night action, 9 o'clock start. We were right on time, though, with it. Always good to get that, especially when it's this late. To the far wing, I can't imagine being a player and trying to get to bed, calm down, get to bed after a varsity hockey game, and then get up in time for school in the morning. But anyway, this is the life they've chosen, I suppose, as Slavin will feed it back to Mertens. He got around Tricana, the goal scorer, made a pass across, did Mertens, finding Kimberling, the lone defenseman on the ice right now for Peters Township. Working on their sixth power play. First minute of it. Tomko softly near the corner. Mertens now back to Tomko. Scores! And that breaks the tie. William Tomko, the freshman, has 18 on the year, and he is all by himself atop the Class AAA goal-scoring race. He moves one up on Jackson Reed, and barring a third-period hat trick from his teammate Cooper Slavin, he is going to at least have a share of the goal-scoring title as a ninth grader. How about that? William Tomko, congratulations. A bullet to the top shelf against Morgan to make it 5-1 Peters Township. And the Indians now 3 for 6 on the power play tonight. 12:29 to go in the period and in the season. I wouldn't say Tomko's greatest attribute that stood out to me this year has been his shooting, but he's such a well-rounded player, it's hard to even say what he's best at. And he's still got 3 more years left at this level if he wants them. I know Rick Tingle wants him to want them. Stick around and play all 4 for PT. That's a rare honor on this program, as I was mentioning earlier. Shoveled in on net on the deflection by Camden Martin, and James Morgan holds it there. Tomko has 31 points on the season as well. More than 1.5 per game average. Bosick shot it. That was pinballing off bodies and wide of the net. Back to a 4-goal lead for Peters Township. A team that has poured on the goals in the home games this year. Even though this isn't a home game, it won't go down as such. At Princescape, they've averaged 5.9 goals per game, and that's even after getting held to 1 by Baldwin 3 weeks ago in their most recent home action. Rister, that was a weird knuckling one from Franzik. Might have been deflected, in fact. And Hilbert fought it off as best he could. Wasn't pretty, but it was a save. Now Caleb Kovac trying to get one through. That didn't work. It was blocked out high by Scarilli. Up the far wing with 11 minutes to go in regulation time. 2-man rush for Canon-Mac. Wilcox burrows in behind the net. Left it there, taken over by Peters Township, but poked right back to Nick Kubik below the goal line. He's confronted by Carson Alexander. Alexander had the second goal of the night for Peters Township, back in the first period. Booted ahead. And back in the possession of the Big Macs at their own line. Carson O'Donohue, freshman defender. To the outside, he peels and shoots off the chest of Hilbert. Nolan Hilbert, the junior goalie, making his 7th appearance, 7th start, I should say. Scramble for it in the low slot. Briggs on the puck. Someone's stick, or part of a stick, has fallen to the ice. I don't know what that is, actually. Maybe it's not a stick. Nick Price tried to pick it up. Maybe it's part of his equipment. I'm not sure. Anyway, the puck is cleared by Peters Township back into Big Mac's real estate, where it's pushed back ahead by Braden Gerchow. Now under 10 minutes left in a 5-1 game. PT on the verge of winning 3 in a row going into the playoffs and 8 of 9 overall going into the postseason. And that dates back to prior to the new year, as they played 12 of their 20 games before the holiday break. 3-on-3 rush for Peters Township. Good pass back to Malley. Oh, and he just missed on the one-timer. The overlapping play with Ben Kovac. Malley at the front kicked it to his stick, or at least tried to, but it drifted away from his reach. Skating back hard, Ryan McKenna for Peters Township. Now down to 9 minutes to play in the period and in the season. A centering pass for a row of Canon-Mac was broken up. In the corner, Petrillo. Behind the goal line. That piece of padding or whatever that is still hanging out behind the net now in the Peters Township zone. Got in the way of that pass from the Big Macs, in fact. Referee picks it up. So now that's out of play, and it's flipped high and right past Scarilli at the point. And onto the stick of Kovac. Ben Kovac wanted to swerve his way in and nearly did all the way to the front of the net, but couldn't get the shot away. Briggs with some room down the right wing. Aiden Briggs pulls it behind the net. Fired a pass in front. Came right back to him on the far side. The puck following him a bit, but he lost control. The clock is melting away. 8 minutes to go in the third. To the point, and kept there by O'Donohue. O'Donohue again shoves it forward. That's where it's taken by Alexander as he tries to turn from forehand to backhand and does. Dispatched out to center, and the chase is on with Kness reaching out, but he couldn't get there in time. Given right back to Caden Kazarowski of Peters Township. Big 47, backhands it deep, but not deep enough as the Big Macs quickly force it back into the offensive side of the ice for them. Alexander couldn't make a clean play. Now he's jousting there at the side of the net with Kubik. And Alexander wins that battle and wins the puck. Down the ice it goes, icing just barely as Kazarowski missed the puck by about a foot. Couldn't quite reach the pass with 7:12 left in the third. Three more power play goals for Peters Township tonight. Good to see that man advantage unit. Keep it going, keep it hot. And unlike the first meeting between these two teams, when Peters Township led twice by 3 before it went down to the end in a 4-3 final, this one looks like it's going to allow Peters Township to shift it into cruise control if they already have it. Not that they can necessarily let down, but they can relax a little bit here. Bosick lost control of the puck. Price. Nick Price. I believe he's played all 4 years for Canon-Mac. I feel like I've been calling his name since 2018, that's for sure. No offside here. It's washed out as the Big Macs tag up, and here comes Peters Township. Stoffer with a dart from the top of the left circle right into the chest of Morgan, and he keeps it with 6:22 left. Again, keep an eye on PIHLhockey.com and also berghockey.com for your Penguins Cup brackets. Those will be debuting shortly. In fact, they could have put them out tonight because it didn't appear any position could change coming into the evening. In fact, that is correct. 1 through 8 was set in AAA, at least it was. Race is still on in other divisions, though. Cooper Slavin, I'm trying to catch up with Tomko. He's now 2 goals behind him. William Tomko on the verge of winning the goal-scoring title in AAA as a freshman. Slavin, though, with a backhand, didn't get through. That was rejected by Jason Lombardi, who reached out to a knee. Gerchow around the boards. Trakana gave it away, or nearly did. Slavin right back to the Big Macs, and here they come out the center. It's Price into the offensive zone, trying to move to the backhand, but he was headed off the pass. 5.5 left in the third. Ringwald keeps it here. So many times this year, it's been the case of just running out the clock for Peters Township in the third period at home, even in games in which they're not actually the home team, as it turns out, as is the case tonight. Wearing the Road Reds, Martin has an assist tonight, backhand chance. That was smothered by Morgan. Ryan McKenna hammers it off the wood. 3-man rush. Masucci, a high shot. That gave Morgan some trouble as he knocked the rebound away to the corner after he located it at his feet. Martin on the takeaway, playing a little defense to offense now. Kimberling gave the puck away, though. Briggs faked the slap shot. Briggs to the outside. Hilbert melts it down and keeps it a 5-1 game with 4.5 left in the season. Peters Township has made it to 7 consecutive Penguins Cup semifinals. And this senior group, the senior class of 22, has compiled, it's about to be 56 regular season wins and a few more in the playoffs. Breaking back Kovac. Backside chance for Tomko to get the hat trick. Would have been his 3rd of the season, but he couldn't control the bouncing puck. Speaking of a bouncing puck, right to the front of the net it goes, and Morgan had to parry it away. Tomko again. Front of the net, Malley redirects. Morgan made that save. Morgan made 46 saves in the first game. Score! There is the hat trick for Tomko. 19 on the year. And now there's no doubt the goal-scoring crown is his. The pass fluttered its way through, and he popped it in with Gertchow turning around the wrong way in front of the net for Canon-McMillan. The puck went in over the glove of James Morgan, and it's 6-1 Peters Township. 2 goals in the third for Tomko for his 3rd hat trick of the year. And like I mentioned, 19 in 20 games for William Tomko. Actually, 19 in 19 games. He missed one earlier this year. So a goal per game guy. I spoke too soon when I said there weren't any in Class AAA. Now there is. And his name is William Tomko. Kovac right to the front of the net, and Slavin knocked over the goaltender. That'll be probably goaltender interference, I would imagine. Or was that Slavin or was that Tomko? I'm actually not sure. Again, the old 26 or 28 dilemma gets the better of me. Morgan still seated on the ice with 3:26 remaining. And the last thing we want to see is any kind of emotional fireworks here late. You don't want anyone to get injured, especially on the PT side going into the playoffs, obviously. Player to the box for Peters Township. I think that's the only one from the sequence that's been penalized. And it was Tomko. So my apologies to Mr. Cooper Slavin there. It was your buddy William instead who trucked over the goalie. So he's got a hat trick and a goalie interference penalty. I'm not sure there's anything special to call that. Maybe the Dino Cicerelli or the Patrick Hornquist for those more acquainted with modern hockey. Anyway, back to take Gertchow for Cannon Mac. Trying to get a power play goal now are the Big Macs. Gertchow continues to hold. Soft pass ahead to Price, who gains the zone. No trouble. Price with a wrister. And I think Hilbert got a piece, deflecting it into the corner. Under 3 to go in regulation in a 6-1 game. One of the Big Macs tried to pass it to himself off the back of the net. That didn't work out. I think that was Briggs. Now taking and shooting just wide as Rowe. Kimberling clears down the far side of the ice, and it bounces all the way back to the Cannon Mac goal line. 1 minute to go on the William Tomko goaltender interference minor. Good cross-rink feed, but Briggs couldn't make anything of it. It'll be Slavin knocking it off a Big Mac stick. Kazarowski, 1 versus 5 right now in the offensive zone, so he'll pull back smartly and make the play back to Kimberling again. And Kimberling will clear. 2 minutes to go in the third. Peters Township moments away from win number 14 and closing out the regular season with 3 straight wins. This is Carson Alexander hammering it out to center ice. 20 seconds remaining on the power play. Big Mac's 5th of the night by my count. They haven't scored on one yet. Casiola pins his man to the wall. Kazarowski helps it along, but kept in at the point. Down to 2 seconds to go on the power play. The first shot from the point was blocked. And instead of shooting, Laurie puts it around the wall from behind the net. Back to 5-on-5. PT's 5 for 5 on the kill tonight. That'll help the season percentages for sure and the confidence. To the wall, Rister from Tricana. The only goal scorer tonight for Canon-Mac. That's fended off by Hilbert, who's about to pick up his 4th win in goal. Luke Casiola gets his motor going, but not a lot of time to rev the engine there at center ice, starting from a standstill. So with under a minute to play, Canon-Mac gets the clear off the glass. Driven back in by Peters Township. James Morgan. He's played almost every minute this season for Canon-Mac. So tap of the stick for him. Didn't compile the best numbers, but watching him play a couple times this year, especially tonight, he has done well, keeping the Big Macs in some of these games. Icing the call against Canon-McMillan with 22 seconds left in the third. So we're just down to essentially the final shift of this one, final half shift of the regular season. And the honor for the faceoff goes to Caleb Kovac, the senior. And Caleb Kovac, from behind the net, right in front, Masucci. Oh, nearly getting one there. That'd have been some way to finish the season with Masucci getting his first goal, but not to be, as Morgan shuts the door with 14 seconds remaining. Andrew Masucci, the starting kicker for the Peters Township football team in the fall, so he only got to play 11 games out of 20 this year, but he made an impact. Good forward checker for sure. A lot of energy. 9 seconds left. Hilbert spins it away from the front of his net. Down to the final 5. And Caleb Kovac gets one last touch on the puck as time expires. Indians win. Indians win. 6 is more than 1, and Peters Township enters the playoffs as the number 3 seed in Class AAA behind a hat trick from the freshman sensation William Tomko, who finishes with 19 goals, tops in the class. Also getting goals tonight, Austin Malley, Carson Alexander, and Chase Stauffer. Alexander and Stauffer, seniors, scoring in their final regular season game as members of the Peters Township team. Time for the handshakes at center ice as PT, dressed in red tonight on the ice at Prinscape in a rarity, wins for the 8th time in its past 9 games to improve to 14-5-1. They finished the regular season with 29 points, just 1 point behind Pine Richland for a second. Canon-Mac concludes its 2021-22 season with a record of 4-15-1, 9 total points. The Big Macs missed the playoffs and will look for bigger and better things in 2022-23. More congratulations at center ice as the two teams continue to exchange pleasantries. A much more cordial finish to this game than there was for the Miners Cup game back in January, and good to see that. As Peters Township heads on to the playoffs, we will hope to see you next week. We think on Monday, possibly Tuesday, but most likely Monday for the home matchup against Baldwin. The 3 seed Peters Township versus the 6 seed, the Baldwin Highlanders, in their first go-around in Class AAA. Hope to see you here, and hope to talk to you for the start of the Penguins Cup playoffs as Peters Township tries to make it 8 straight trips, at least, to the Penguins Cup semifinals. It'll take quite an effort against a team that beat them twice in the regular season. Thanks again for watching all regular season long. For Todd Kazarowski and his staff on site, for Brian Mitchell and Alan Saunders of Pittsburgh Hockey Digest, this is Matt Geik saying good nights, and we'll see you in the playoffs. Bye-bye for now.